guys, welcome back to the Self-Made Training Facility Coaches Corner. Here with Coach Jarvis, and we got a little quick one for you today to answer some questions about, are you training hard enough? So you guys saw my story on Instagram earlier. You saw Jarvis flexing, his pecs were all popping out. So he was training hard enough. So we're going to talk about intensity versus ego lifting. We're going to talk about training your pecs versus tearing your pecs. Let's not tear pecs. That was a rough one.
Let's not do that.
So when someone says intensity, what does that mean to you with intensity when it comes to your workouts?
Controlled aggression.
Okay.
Being in control of your movements all the way through. If you're doing shortening moves, if you're doing lengthening moves, but being in control of those and taking, dropping the weight down and then really squeezing and really holding. I'm a big proponent under time under tension. Mm-hmm. So that's the ultimate set and ultimate rep for me. Like time under tension, squeezing till you can't squeeze no more, and then doing it again.
Yeah. And we call Big Ron Partlow, Dusty Hanshaw, those guys from Think Big Bodybuilding, they call it robot reps. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting when Kuba was on there, he was talking about how every rep should look the same. It just starts slowing down. Mm-hmm. So that the form is tight. He goes, that's intensity to him. Mm-hmm. All the wiggling and shaking and stuff, he goes, you're losing tension on the target tissue if your goal is bodybuilding. Right. Now, if you're a weightlifter, you're an athlete, then you have a different goal. But here on the Coach's Corner, most people are looking more for an aesthetic improvement. Mm-hmm. And so intensity is going to be a little bit different. Mm-hmm. If you're a football player, you're a lineman, linebacker, your intensity is going to be ripping that dude's head off, right? And so it's going to be a little different. When it comes to bodybuilding, it's more scientific approach. Mm-hmm. And it's more the intent that matters, how intense it is. Right?
Yeah, I like that.
So we have volume. Volume is how many reps you're doing per set, per workout. We have load, how heavy something is. Mm-hmm. Have frequency, how often you do it, once a week, twice a week, however much. And then you have your intensity. And intensity literally means, in the scientific basis, is the amount of rest between your sets. So technically, intensity in the studies would be it's more intense if you do them faster, right? With less rest. Mm-hmm. But we know that that's not always the best way to grow tissue.
Right.
So the intent behind the exercise is going to change your intensity. So if your goal is to put on maximum amount of tissue, you need to take your sets to near failure. Mm-hmm. So, and that's proven. We don't need to argue about that one. You got to have enough protein. Mm-hmm. You got to have enough carbs to facilitate training. Mm-hmm. You need enough fats for healthy hormone production, and you need to train close to failure to create a stimulus for change, right? So they've shown that 0 to 2 reps in reserve. Okay. Now, when it comes to your own training, since you're skilled at training because you've been doing it for a long time, you know what failure feels like. But from a coaching standpoint, when you're coaching somebody new, how do you deal with taking them to failure or not? And how do you program that when it comes to them working out on their own? Do you tell them to take it to failure? Or what does that look like for you?
Great question. I like to explain it to people this way. If I tell you to do 10 reps, I want it to be damn near impossible for you to get to that 10th rep.
Right, you start failing almost.
I want you to get to 5 and be like, man, I don't know if I could do 5 more reps. Then you get to 6 and 7, and I want I want that rep I want you to barely be able to get to 10. I don't want you to skate through 10 reps. Then why are we here? And I tell all my clients the same thing. If you just did 10 easy reps, please do it again. Right?
As you put 25 on top.
Yeah, as I add weight to it or as I adjust, if they do something too easy, then we're all wasting our time here.
Right.
So
it's a warm-up.
Yeah, it's exactly. So it's just they keep compiling the warm-ups over. But I always explain to them, go to failure. I'd rather you fail on the way to that number, or it's very difficult to get to that number that I do get.
Getting to blow right past it.
Yes. So, sometimes that's why I have to, especially for females, go higher in the rep range because they don't like that. They don't like to fail, and they like to do things more.
Well, what's funny is the female body, and I tell this not only to pump up all the ladies that I train, but it's true. Like I just posted a study the other day that they can handle more volume, they can handle more endurance type sets with higher rep ranges, and so you get to a point where like the female body was made to survive. They can have kids, we can't, right?
Right.
And they actually drop and deplete glycogen slower, and they slow down the depletion of glycogen in their muscle tissue, which is also why they don't require as many carbohydrates to carb up for a competition. A, they're smaller, B, less muscle, and C, they don't deplete as fast as we do. So with those changes in depletion rates, you don't carb up a female the same way you carb up a male. And sometimes you get these old school bodybuilders that are having their female clients carb up like they do.
Yeah.
And they wonder why they're watery on stage or washed out, or, you know, and a lot of times with females, they overfill them because they carb them up like a bodybuilder,
Right.
and then they make them take a diuretic, and then they dehydrate them, and now I get what I call diaper butt,
Yeah.
where their butts are now sagging in their bikini bottoms, and it looks like they took a dump in their pants, or like they got like a watery ass now, and that's because they treated them as they would have treated a male. They don't look at the science behind things. So without getting on you nerdy on science all day, but when it comes to the mentality of failure, how I do it is most people, if they haven't been training with you for a while, they don't know what failure actually feels like. So telling someone to go to failure, in my mind, usually they'll stop 2 to 3 reps short.
Right.
Anyway.
Yep.
So I tell my clients, hey, you should go to failure, because it's probably safe for them to go to failure when they don't know what failure feels like, because they are going to stop short without you. They've done studies that show that you do 30% more when you're with your trainer than when you're not.
Right.
So them going to failure is still 30% less than they do with you, right? On average. But if you got a baller client, been with you for years, and how many sets would you say per exercise do you have them take to failure? So say they were doing a bench press or a pull-ups or whatever. Do you have like a certain scheme where you like a certain amount of sets to failure the working weight, or how do you do your warm-ups? How do you set up the intensity there?
I like to do a dynamic style warm up with my clients. So typically, and then I don't know. I have this thing where I like to do 3 different moves, right?
Okay.
So like 3 different moves, warming them up, or even during the workout scene, I pick 3 different things and I have them triangle offense. I don't know, in my mind it's weird. It's weird in there, but I have them do 3 different things, 3 different movements. It could be 3 different body parts or similar, or front, back, front, something like that. Still hitting the same muscle group or the body parts that we're trying to hit that day. But typically I'll have them do, like if we're doing push, have them do a little bit of chest, then a little bit of maybe front delt, then a little bit of triceps. Like 3 different moves, and I have them kind of rotate
the
through
joints.
that. Yeah. And then, but prior to that, the dynamic warm up is usually a full body type movement that's going to get their heart rate elevated. It's something lower. It's going to get their lower in weight. That's not typically going to stress them out too much. What the rep range might stress them out because it's going to be high reps or time under tension. And I'm a big component. I use almost daily. I use my Tabata timers.
Ooh. 2 to 1?
Yeah.
2 to 1? Oh.
So I use the Tabata, 10 seconds on, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. I use the Tabata timer for a lot. And that's usually what I use for my warm-ups. I'll have them Tabata something. So
Sure, they love that.
Yeah, they do. They do.
The how I do it is usually like, depending on how strong they are, I always say the stronger you are, the more warm-ups you need to get ready for that weight. So if I have a guy that's benching 225 and the guy's benching 365, the guy who's benching 365 may need 1 or 2 more sets to get there, right? So we may do a set of like 10 and then a set of 8, a set of 6, and they're only doing 6 with like 225, right? But that's not their working weight. If their working weight's 315, I don't want them to get tired on the way there either. And then maybe they do 365 for 8 reps, and it looks weird. Like you did 225 for 6, then you did 365 for 8. So that's all priming the movement, right? And getting the movement pattern down, getting your breathing right, getting ready to hit those 2 sets of 8 at 365 or whatever it is. And I find that a lot of times, and in the past, I used to do it too much junk volume. like pyramiding up and then down. You're doing all this stuff that like is all priming moves. Then you're just getting more tired.
Right.
And I found that I was able to do a lot less of a workout when I took 2 sets to failure. And actually during prep, my coach had me doing some exercises. We're doing 1 set to failure because you got no gas.
Yeah.
And that was because the carbohydrates were down, the calories were down. So he would rather me put in all my effort onto 1 set to failure than trying to like warm up for a couple sets and then do like 2-3 sets of 10. Your trainer's still giving you 3 sets of 10. Fire your trainer, come hire one of us. Last question for you, Jarvis. I know we're on a quick one today. A sign that your client is sandbagging their workout.
I mean,
And don't call out any clients that are in the room.
I won't call any. I won't look at anybody. But I watch them. I watch them with intent. When we're training, I'm not on my phone. I'm not doing other things. I'm watching my clients with intent. So I can see. I got a good sense from doing this for a while. I can kind of see when they're sandbagging based on their body language or based on how the set ends.
Yeah, I take a look at their watch, see if their heart rate moved or not.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I'm always making them start their watches when we start the workouts and things like that. But also just seeing how they get off that set. If they get off their set and they're just talking about something else, it's like, okay, like you're not even breathing hard.
Yeah.
It's like, why did you do that set? We're here for a reason. We're here for a purpose. So we gotta make sure that set ends. They need to be a good actor or actress. They need to sell that set. Sell that.
We got some people that should get some Grammys.
I need to see that output, that outpour from them. So I watch it, and if I don't see enough, then I'll change it on the next series, on the next round that we do. I have to, I might have to adjust it. Yeah, add another plate or make them do time under tension or anything anything to enhance that set. I like
an intensifier.
I add intensifiers a lot during our things. Nothing's normal set. If I say do a normal set, it's probably after you've done something pretty dramatic, like
I like giving a rep range, so I'll say, hey, hit 12 to 15, and then they're like, well, what's the goal? And I say, well, if you get to 12 and it's still got some gas, hit 15. And it tells me if you hit the top number, we're going up because that's our progression. Or if it's 10 to 12, whatever it is, depending on the movement. But I know you got to go, so it's going to check out here. And next week, we're going to talk about the truth about fat loss and breaking plateaus. So stay tuned for us, guys, on the Coaches Corner. We're going to help you next week learn how to not be fat for summer.
No fat. Team no back fat.
Hashtag fat free.